Jesus, it was chaotic. Gut-churning, headache-producing chaos. Too many people in too small a place, on a day always filled with too much expectation. Christmas Day. And it's hot and it's dry and it's sunny, the way it can be on Christmas in LA, which always discombobulates me because I grew up in Colorado and it's supposed to have snow or something, right? And on this particular Christmas, some 20 years ago, more and more people keep getting sprung on me, literally. Very late on Christmas Eve, my husband, Carl, announces that my sister-in-law is coming over for Christmas Day with my teenage nephew and my wheelchair-bound mother-in-law, Adele, who has lots of problems, including macular degeneration, and as it turns out, a severe cold and a cough that makes it sound like she's trying to expel her lungs. Also joining us will be my wheelchair-bound, bipolar, Parkinson-stricken, diapered, hyper-talkative, lifelong socialism pontificating father-in-law, Ezra. Yeah, my husband is going to desert me late Christmas morning to go fetch his father from his nursing home way across town. Now, please understand, it's not that I don't want these people here. I love these people, every single one of them. It's this last minute thing. And why is it that I didn't know about this earlier? Well, I think it's because my husband's not a planner. He thrives on spontaneity. And Christmas wasn't a big deal for his family. There were no real traditions. So I think that Christmas is just another gathering, which may or may not happen. So it becomes a sort of improvisational surprise thing, which, like the weather, discombobulates me. Because my family, while not classically Norman Rockwell ritualistic traditionalists, we definitely prepared for. We certainly consistently celebrated Christmas. A small group of us calmly unwrapping thoughtful, elaborately decorated presents in the morning and then spending Christmas Day relaxing, or at least my dad did while he was watching football while the women folk prepared and served dinner. Okay, it wasn't perfect. You get the idea. Anyway, also in the mix is my mother, who has flown in from Denver. That's no surprise. She always comes. And my dad, which is very unusual because basically he hasn't stepped foot on an airplane since he got off his Liberator B-24 at the end of World War II. But here he is, barking and growling and scowling, which I know is just a symptom of his uneasiness with anything new and the fact that he can't hear worth a damn, but it feels judgmental. And it makes me want to tap dance him into a good mood, like I did as a kid, whenever he came home in an alcoholic funk, and it was my job to make him happy so that we could have a semi-decent dinner. Also, Daddy is disappointed with the Pasadena Inn where we had to put him up because my house is just too small, which makes me feel like a total failure and makes me want to tap dance extra hard. Mom, content as usual with sleeping on the couch, is my only possible source of equilibrium, except not really, because she too has macular degeneration, and I can't help but always worry about her kind of stumbling around in the dark. Nobody better hug me, Dad growls as we wait for the others to arrive. See, it's just my parents and me and our youngest teenage son, Corey, there at this point. I hate it when people I don't know hug me. Okay, see, my dad has never met my in-laws, which is really scary, and so I start tap dancing by making Dad a salami sandwich with the works, including horseradish. It's a memory from a past Christmas, and he seemed very pleased, so this is really good. Yay! So as Corey starts banging on his Christmas drum set, I ask Mom to get Dad another beer while I start soaking the clay pot, because did I mention that we're cooking dinner? Yeah, another of Carl's spontaneous ideas. It's a clay pot chicken dish called Garvey's Garnished Gallo, which includes exotic things like chorizo, green mango, plantains, pineapple, shelled shelled green peas, and I mean, it's delicious, but it's not simple, not real traditional. And I want to get started on this but my husband Carl insists on doing things himself as usual, and has made it very clear when he left that to get his dad that I'm not to do anything, not with the food while he's gone. But I measure out the rice anyway. While fantasizing playing gin rummy with Mom out on the sunny deck. It's just another Christmas memory because Mom's basically blind, remember, and well, the shit is about to hit the fan. Because I don't know how they managed this, but I mean, they were coming from all directions of the town, and you know how big Los Angeles is. But everybody arrives at exactly the same time. That's right. Simultaneously, in roles, not only the wheelchair crowd, but also Carl's ex-wife, his daughter, her husband, our 2 little grandchildren, one of which is an infant, and our adult son, Case, who is a maybe recovering junkie, or maybe not recovering. Because the moment he arrives, Case starts guzzling all the juice in the refrigerator, plus more than his share of the beer. And throughout the day, between cigarette breaks out on the deck, he complains about there not being more sweet stuff in the house. The first thing that my mother-in-law does is struggle up out of her wheelchair, grab my dad, and not only hug him, but kiss him straight up on the mouth. My nephew joins Corey at the drums. Carl parks Ezra in the living room and hurries into the kitchen. My dad, mumbling something about unsolicited physical contact and men cooking, follows Carl and plants himself at the counter between the kitchen and dining room to continue working on his crossword puzzle in pen. Reminding me how Daddy and I used to decorate the Christmas tree, hanging one piece of tinsel at a time on the branches while listening to It's a Wonderful Life on the television. Everybody else is kind of crowded into the living room, angling around the wheelchairs, the drums, the 2 dogs, the cat, the guinea pig, and the Christmas tree. I offer water all around and begin distributing presents that I dug up someplace to everyone. Just small tokens like framed pictures of Corey for my in-laws. Adele gets frustrated with the wrapping paper and then with not being able to see the photograph, and she begins weeping loudly about her pitiful eyesight. So my mother, appearing from nowhere, kneels before Adele, blind as a bat herself, probably seeing half as well as Adele, begins cooing and touting positive thinking and visualization, and Adele, all snot and tears, attempting a smile, coughs right in Mom's face. Mom just wipes away the mucus and then goes back to holding Adele's hand as I turn to Ezra, who is breathing heavily and doing some sort of lithium side effect thing with his mouth. Socialism in our time. He says, I gotta go to the bathroom. I see that Carl is in the kitchen up to his elbows and Teresa, so I start rolling Ezra towards him. Because I'm not taking this man to the bathroom. Plus, the downstairs bathroom is tucked in right next to the kitchen. I know, that is really gross. Carl, God bless him, sees me. He stops chopping, he rushes to take over. He maneuvers the wheelchair through the tight doorway and through the kitchen and past my dad, who is diligently working the hell out of that crossword puzzle, all the time covertly stealing peeks at the drama that is unfolding. Mom's still tending to Adele. The boys have added a bongo to the cacophony. My grandchild wants juice, but there isn't any because Case drank it all. My sister-in-law is just sitting calmly admiring her antique bell present. And there's paper and ribbons and toys everywhere, and raw but diced food stuff ready for the clay pot that's been soaking way too long. And see, Carl and Ezra don't completely disappear into the bathroom because it's too small. And so Dad and I have front row seats. And this is where the shit truly hits the fan. because Carl has to change his dad's diapers, his dirty, shitty diapers, and then go back and forth between kitchen and bathroom, continuing to cook, refusing my help. You're going to have to ask him why that is. I vigilantly monitor his hand washing. Thank you, Jesus, for nail brushes in the kitchen. So eventually we do all sit down in various spots throughout the house to eat what turns out to be delicious Garvey's garnished gallo. My dad loves it so much that he takes the recipe home. And surprisingly, as Adele is leaving, he bends down and he gives her a quick little hug. Okay. Nothing profound happens that day. But besides Mom catching Adele's hideous cold, which means that Mom had to stay with me on the couch for another couple of weeks, which I actually really loved, nothing bad happens either. There were no crosswords, no hurt feelings, no food poisoning. And that's the last time that all those people are gathered in my home altogether. Because since then, 5 of them, Adele, Ezra, my mom, my dad, and Case, have all passed away. I suspect that Christmas might always disappoint me somewhat, but I'm grateful that I had that Christmas, because it really helped me lower my expectations.